Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. Into the previous video, we had discussed about that null hypothesis with the help of some graphs as well in a very detail, right? So today we'll be discussing about the alternate hypothesis in a detail. We'll be discussing that when we say that it is an alternate hypothesis. So let me quickly take out a color here and let me draw out, okay, not right here. Let me draw out three boxes at this particular place, somewhat like this. Yes. Okay, so I would just not here. This one goes as the first one. So here goes my second box as well. Okay, and let me just quickly take out one more particular box right here. And here it goes the third box for me, right? So yeah, all the three boxes I have simply made out. Now here we have the option, I would remove this out. Here we have the option for making out the box plot. As I mentioned that I'll be distributing the things in the form of a box plot right here. So okay, one more second. This box need not to be made up at this particular place. I'm so sorry. I would again take out the color because here we are describing out the alternate hypothesis. So in the alternate hypothesis, all the boxes are not similar to each other, right? That we have already discussed about, right? So yeah, that is okay. And the next one goes up at this particular. Okay, so same one has been okay displaced. Fine. I would do one thing right here. I would simply take out the eraser right here, and I would simply make out the another box at this particular place. And next goes the next one as well, like this, and it would be coming at this. Okay, this is sorted, right? This is how we just get out for the null hypothesis, sorry, for the alternate hypothesis. What we studied for the alternate hypothesis, that whatever we just take out here, everything basically whatever is we just take it out here onto this particular alternate hypothesis. So all the values which goes up here and which we have, these are if these are not equal, if these are not same, right? In that case, what we mention out, we say that the null hypothesis is false. We do not say that alternate hypothesis is true or anything like that. No, we don't do out that particular thing. We simply convey out that the null hypothesis is false in this particular situation, right? So in that particular case, simply that means that we are just having out a distribution, we are having out a sample, and onto that we had checked that whether this particular is having the null hypothesis or the alternate hypothesis. So if the alternate hypothesis is not there, sorry, the null hypothesis is not there in that particular case, so we simply mention this out, that the null hypothesis is false at this condition. If you have watched out my last video, so onto that particular, what I had done, I had already defined out, I had already made out one of the box plots for the previous one, right? I had already done out that particular thing. So onto that, I had told you that when all of the ones were having the same mean, right? All the boxes which we were having, all of those boxes were actually having out the same mean. Same means that it is basically the alternate, sorry, null hypothesis. Now, if I just draw out the lines up right here in the between somewhere like this, so here could I say that the means are same? No, it's not actually same, right? It's not same, right? So into that particular case, we just say out that the means are not same. And if I just need to write this out, so I would say that H naught is equal to false. We do not write that HA is equal to true or anything like that. We simply write that like let's say we have H naught, that's my null hypothesis. So we simply say out that the null hypothesis is false in this particular case, right? So I would now just let you know the complete description of this particular one which we are having right here for the second one. Okay, so let's go back and let me just come down. So let me get out some space for me to write out the things so that it's clear to you regarding all the things which we have studied out, right? So I would just mention out that in null hypothesis, okay, not in, it's if. So if the null hypothesis is false, basically the null hypothesis which we are having, if that particular goes here as false, so in that case what we say out, let me just go down. If the null hypothesis is false, in that case, then the variance, then the variance of the combined data is larger, which is caused by the different means which I had shown you in the previous plot which I had made out. Right, so if basically null hypothesis is false, as I mentioned out that whenever the means are not similar, so in that case we just simply mention out that a null hypothesis is false. We do not put on that it's true or anything like that. We simply put on that a null hypothesis is false. So in that case, what happens that then the variance of the combined data, like what are the combined data we are having? So the variance of that combined data is larger, okay, which is basically caused by the different means. So when all the means are actually similar to the data which we are having, so in that case we say out that the variance of the combined data is like similar, okay. But when we are having out a different means here, when we are having out a different means, so in that case we say out that the null hypothesis is false, then the variance of the combined data is larger, which is caused by the different means, right? So which is caused by the different means. So in that case, the null hypothesis is false. So let me go above and show you out the things. 1 second, right here. So for here, when we had made it out for the 1 second, here the null and hypothesis alternate. So the null hypothesis is simply that the group population means are the same. So what are the group population means we are having whenever it is same? So in that case, we are having out the null hypothesis. And when the one pair at least one pair of the mean is different, so in that case we say out that it is the alternate hypothesis. So see, for the H0, that's my null hypothesis, all of these particular values which we are having all are same, right? And for HA, that's my alternate hypothesis. So we have that at least two of the group means are not equal. So the graph basically which we are having that help us in understanding of the hypothesis test. So the one which we have made out here. So onto these the middle line which are actually right here. So these are displaying out the mean. Okay, these are displaying out the mean. So we are able to actually see that the mean which we are having here, that's completely similar to all of the three plots of all of the three box plots which we are having out here. So in that particular case, we say out that the H0 is actually true. We can simply say that the H0 is true, and if the H0 is true, so in that particular case, okay, 1 second, if the H0 is true, so in that particular case, all the means will absolutely be similar to each other. Right, next we are having, I had made out this particular plot for the alternate hypothesis. So when I talk about the alternate hypothesis, or so in that particular case, I could simply mention it out that all the means which we are having onto these plots that are not equal to each other. So above when they were equal, we wrote out that H0 is equal to 2. That's the null hypothesis is true. Now here we'll be writing out that H0 is false. It means that the null hypothesis is false right here. Okay. So if the null hypothesis is false, then the variance of the combined data is larger, which is caused by the different means. So whenever the hypothesis is false, in that case the variance which you are having of the combined data, that is completely larger, and that particularly is caused by the different means which we are having out here, right? So hope I am very much clear with this null and the alternate hypothesis to you very much regarding that what are these null and alternate hypotheses and how are these, what are these completely known as, when are the conditions true and when are the conditions false and everything. So this was one of the more important topic, one of the I would say important topics in this particular ANOVA. I would just remove this out. Right, this was one of the important topics in the ANOVA, so that we had already covered out. So now we'll be covering about some more topics in the further videos. So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.